Here we go. It's been a good week, hasn't it? It's been a good week for theatre all over the place, really. People seem to be really give people something to look forward to, and it gives them a purpose, you see. And people have been given this 4-month date on June the 21st when theatres can reopen without any social distancing in place, and everyone seems to be jumping through hoops. It's great. There are a few naysayers. A few people have said, yeah, but remember, this is England. Anything that Westminster announces is for England. We've also got Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. But I'm sure when it's something this important, the 4 countries involved here, England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, that make up the UK, will all hopefully run in unison. Should be unison, shouldn't it? Something this important. Or if they do announce their own separate set of rules, they're going to follow the same pattern, I'm sure. I'm sure they will follow the same pattern. But anyway, I said I'd bring you something inspiring and positive today, and that's what we're going to do. So, back in the end of 2013, we interviewed the winner of How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, Connie Fisher. Remember her from Wales? The very first winner of the very first BBC Saturday Night Talent Show. And I think Connie Fisher was head and shoulders above everyone from the very start. Everyone said it has to be Connie, and it was Connie. But it's a really inspiring story that Connie's got. We've picked her, by the way, because not only is she the patron of the National Operatic and Dramatic Association, NODA, she's also the patron of the Drama Association of Wales, and she's also, with her husband, Jeremy Reed, had just given birth to twin girls, which is fantastic, isn't it? They're called Winnie and Rosie. And we wish Connie and Jeremy all the very best. All the very best. Now I'm going to read some of Connie's story from at the end of 2013 here. I printed it out because I've got a quote and read some quotes from what Connie gave me back then, and I don't want to get them wrong. So can you believe How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria was 2006, 14 years ago. Isn't it mad? And she starred as Maria von Trapp in The Sound of Music after that in the West End, and obviously had some quite infamous or famous, whichever way around you want to put it, problems with her vocal cords, where she had to pull out. And she actually has since, I believe, retired from musical theatre because she said she's had so many problems getting her vocal cords sorted out. And she now works in Wales, where she lives in Barry Island. Not Gavin and Stacey, not Vanessa, but the same place, I believe, Barry Island in Wales. But Connie is Welsh through and through. She grew up in Haverford, in Pembrokeshire. She was a member of Haverford West Operatic Society for years. Done a lot of Am-dram with them before she became a professional. And I'm going to just read some of what Connie said to us back in 2013, because it is an inspiring story, and it is all about how to turn all those no's into yeses. So here we go. By the way, Connie she says some wonderful things about amateur theatre, and before she became a professional, she told us that where I live in Wales right now, the amateur standard and talent are equally as good and just as well equipped as the professionals. Interesting. The only exception is they haven't probably had the regime of training for 3 years for whatever reason, but it doesn't mean you couldn't walk straight into a drama school. Very interesting. Connie also tells me I was very lucky. There is no shortage of celebrities that don't say I was lucky at some point in their life. I was lucky. I had a scholarship to go to drama school, and I had a great time at Mount View, which is in London, obviously, one of the big drama schools in the country. But I know a lot of talented people who have come through from amateur Am-dram and instead have gone to university and studied drama, which is almost seen as a second prize compared to going to drama school, but have come out and are now working in all the great musicals as professionals, I guess she's saying. I guess I'm another one of those Billy Elliots of this world. It, meaning the scholarship, saved me. Without that, I would probably have been a farmer's wife. Interesting. Now, this is what Connie says to me about how she not only got into the auditions for How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, but when she came out of Mountview, she was a practicing professional going to auditions, but she just received no, time after time, 100 no's. But then when she was in the right place at the right time, it all worked out for her. After I left Mountview as a graduate, I remember there was this moment when David and Cary Grant came into Pizza Express where I was working. They were the vocal coaches for the BBC's Fame Academy. Remember Fame Academy? I had an agent at that time, but somehow I just wasn't getting the right opportunities. Whether I wasn't seeing the signs or the right parts just hadn't come up, I don't know. So I was having a chat with them about the business and how I could maybe get to more auditions. And they were really looking at me like a waitress until they said, "Go on then, give us a song." And I should have, there and then, given them a song in front of the whole restaurant, but I didn't. Instead, I got on with serving pizzas. She's just a normal person, isn't she? Fantastic. In the films, you obviously see them break into song and the rest is history. They become a sensation overnight. But it's not how it works in the real world. But Connie goes on, "I promised myself I wouldn't miss another opportunity, whether I was right for a role or not. I would always go for it. You never know who you're going to meet. You might get a no from a casting director because you're not right for a part. If your face doesn't fit or your voice isn't right, then you're not going to get the part. You're not made to do that part, but there's another role out there waiting for you, and if you don't go to everything, you're never going to go what you are right for." I learned a lot from the rejections I had after drama school, but after that moment in Pizza Express, I would never miss another opportunity to gain experience. If I had sung in that restaurant on that day, they may have been able to connect me with somebody else, and then who knows? As Sondheim would say, what can you lose? Who's heard of Stephen Sondheim? Anyone? Connie goes on, "At Pizza Express, I couldn't cope with going to so many auditions while working late nights and early mornings, so I ended up working in telesales. I was about 6 months into that, and I was quite good at that, actually. I know it's an in-between job, but most jobs I throw myself into, and I was earning quite good money selling advertising space, but I never gave up on this dream. I got a part in a panto along the way, which boosted my confidence, and I was still auditioning every week anyway. However, after 100 rejections, you begin to automatically think the next one's already going to be a no, before you even go along. Anyway, I'd heard something on Radio 4, and then the person sitting opposite me, who, not unusually, was also an actress, asked me, and I've worked in an advertising office before as well, and they are actors around. Perfect fodder for people that run advertising departments, I guess. Actors and actresses that need a bit of cash on the side. The person working opposite me asked me if I'd heard about this search for Maria, who she thought I probably looked like a bit. And I said that's unusual because at college, everyone used to call me Julie Andrews because of how much I sounded like her. So much so that on opening nights at college, people would send me flowers with a note saying, "Dear Julie." I just knew that part would be right for me, as I probably think would any Julie Andrews role. And this is where it comes. I remember I went for Mamma Mia straight out of college. I got to the finals and had a one-to-one meeting right at the end where they told me if this other person, this swing leaves the cast, and there's a changeover, then the part's yours, as you can cover this, this and this. The person didn't leave though, and who could blame them? It was such a great part. But the important factor was that the casting director was the very well-known David Grimrod. At that time, I was going for every single Grimrod show. Everything he was casting, but I just wasn't getting anywhere. And I started to think he must be hearing me sing the same song and seeing me every single week, thinking, oh, not Connie again, and I started to feel very insecure. Who wouldn't? But then I was in the queue for Maria about 6 months after the whole Mamma Mia thing. I've been in front of Grimrod just the week before for Fiddler on the Roof. See, you could have got downhearted from any of these no's. So I was in this queue of about 5,000 girls in Cardiff, and who walks past me but David Grimrod? And out of all the thousands of girls, he says to me, "Morning, Connie." That was because he knew me now. He said no to me so many times, and I thought this time he's going to say yes. You have to have buoyancy. He's pushed me down, but I'm going to come back up and again. And all those no's ended up with a big yes in the end. And we all know what happened there in 2006, don't we? Connie sailed through and won How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, and she played Maria von Trapp, ignoring the vocal problems because that's really a separate thing. She did phenomenally well, and yeah, it's fantastic. So really inspiring. So all those no's we keep getting, you just never know. It's nothing personal. It really is nothing personal. And you never know when exactly the right part is going to come along, that your face, your voice, your mannerisms, your persona is going to fit into, and they're going to say, yes, obviously yes. So just go for it. As Connie says, just go for it. Don't go for it. You never know who you're going to meet. Even if it's an audition, you think, no point in going along. Go along anyway. You never know how you're going to stick in the mind of that director, that casting director. You never know. And with theatre opening up again this summer, there's going to be a lot of auditions coming up. So who's going to go for everything? Who's not going to go for anything? Who's going to cherry pick those roles? Let's just see what happens. But there we go, bit of inspiring stuff there from Connie Fisher. We bumped into her just a few years ago in Wimbledon, actually, at the tour of Madagascar, starring Matt. That's right, Matt, who won X Factor. That was starring in Madagascar as Alex the Lion. And we sat right next to Connie Fisher just completely by chance and had a good old natter and a catch up then. And we'll have to do a catch-up interview with Connie. But I'm sure now she's just given birth to twins, she's going to have her hands full, but we'll see what we can pull off. But there we go for now. Have a fantastic weekend, won't you? All of you out there, stay safe, stay well. We know we're going to be back, because it's been announced. See you later. Bye for now.